This will change everything for the Leafs. And these guys are the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. We'll break all this down for you coming up on this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we get into that, we just want to say that 79% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you're looking for a home to daily NHL and daily Leafs content, look no further. Go down below, hit that subscribe button, become a part of the community because me and Mark will be here all season long, keeping you up to date on what's happening around the league. But with that said, let's get right into the first topic of the video here, and that is Easton Cowan is the future. And as we take a look at this tweet from Kyle Cushman, he's given him Leafs Prospect of the Month. Easton Cowan leads the way with a phenomenal start to the OHL campaign on the back of an excellent NHL training camp. And right now, through 7 games in the OHL with the London Knights, Easton Cowan has 5 goals, 12 points, and is a +6. And I know if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know how big me and Mark were on Easton Cowan while he was in preseason, while he was in training camp. And this guy just continues to tear it up. It seems like every week we're doing a video on this guy, but he's just playing phenomenal right now. And it just means the world to the Leafs organization because this guy's going to get right back in there next year and hopefully crack this roster.
Yeah, the big thing with Cowan too is we've recently seen, I think it was within the last week or maybe two, is he got promoted to London Knights top line. He's playing left wing on their top line. He's on the penalty kill, he's on the power play. And just seeing this development of a guy that can handle first line minutes, he's putting up points like this. He can handle the penalty kill and he's still looking good on the power play. It's just massive for the Leafs in the sense you're getting this guy where at a young age, he did look good in preseason. He looked good in training camp. He looked good in every aspect so far with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And he's getting this development on all situations where it's 5-on-5, 5-on-4, 4-on-5, which is big where you get this guy come up. He could come up even next season, the year after, be more mature and be able to play in all the situations, like I said, where you have some prospects that come up that are only one dimensional. It's nice to see this guy be able to handle everything.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with you. It just gets you more excited for next year's training camp because they got so many prospects all around the world. Some playing in Europe, some playing within the organization, and some playing in the CHL. And Easton Cowan is one of these guys that you should keep an eye on throughout the rest of the season in the OHL. Follow the London Knights if you already aren't, because this guy is playing unreal right now, and is a guy that we could very well see come up and take the reins of maybe a third line position next year in Toronto, and it'd be great to see. We just hope him the best for the rest of the season. We'll keep you up to date on what's happening around Easton Cowan because right now this guy's on fire, and he's tearing it up. So we're going to get into our next prospect here, and that is Alex Steeves will get the call. And Alex Steeves is a player who is playing in the AHL with the Marlies right now. In 2 full Marlies games I've tracked, Alex Steeves has caught my eye as someone who looks improved versus last year, making more controlled plays with the puck and making an impact on the forecheck. Looks like an NHL fourth liner to me. And right now, Steeves in 7 games has 4 goals, 7 points. And this is a guy who me and Mark have kind of discussed of one of those guys that we may see get a call up. And the way he's playing right now, the way that analysts are talking about him, just seems like we'll see him up on this fourth line in Toronto sooner than later.
Yeah, the big thing is right now on the fourth line, obviously we have a guy like Gregor, Holmgren, and a guy like Reeves. But the big thing with this is you have this guy that's developing through the minors. He's in the AHL. He's playing great. He has a good shot. He can forecheck. So this is the guy that I could definitely see getting the call if you maybe wanted to move Holmberg back down into the AHL, bring this guy to play the wing on the fourth line. He's a guy that could slot into the third. I don't know if he is a top 6 player yet. He has the potential to maybe slide in with a Matthews and Marner and obviously make an impact. We've seen a lot of guys. Bunting came through, an AHL guy, had a bit of time with Arizona and flourished on a line like that. So Steeves is a guy that could come up and do the exact same thing, but it's really nice to have all these depth pieces where injuries can happen throughout the season. They can kind of plug and play these guys in the lineup and still get the production and get more production from people like this.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of reminds me of a Noah Gregor-esque player. They kind of play the same game. They play with a lot of speed, play up in the in the other offensive zone a lot, trying to get that puck back. And this is a guy who we could really see, like you said, potentially step up into this Leafs roster this year. Obviously, we're not wishing injuries upon anybody, but so far the Leafs have dealt with a few few injuries, and if this continues to happen, they do have guys down there in the AHL like Steeves who can step up, come up and play in the NHL and show what they're made of. And I really do think we'll get to see this guy. He's a great defender, a great 200-foot player, and we really hope to see him up in Toronto soon. But we're going to get into the next topic of video here, and that is Sammy gets the nod. And Ilya Samsonov, Keefe says, came out with a quote today about Samsonov. He said, he needs to play. You need to have both guys thriving. Woll has played very well for us, but we also need to make sure we are giving Sammy every opportunity to grow his game. And Sammy came out and talked about that game against Nashville, the last start he was in. He said, I feel like I'm the right way right now. Everything is good. And Mark, obviously, this has been the big question around Toronto over the last couple of weeks, the goaltending situation. Who's going to get the number one? Who's going to be the backup? But it just seems like right now Keefe's fine with riding this two-tandem goalie pairing, and it just seems like from what Samsonov just said is that they're fine with it as well.
Yeah, that's the big thing. The NHL season's long. It's 82 games plus however deep you go into the playoffs. You could be playing near 100 games throughout the season. So it's kind of hard just to take one goaltender, ride him the entire year. We've seen with Vasilevsky, over time, this does wear and tear on you. We've seen him not look amazing when they played the Leafs in the playoffs last year. So you don't want to force anyone into this situation. So having a guy like Woll and Samsonov at the top of their game is such a massive thing for the Leafs. We've seen Woll, he's looked stellar. He's made huge saves, and he looks rock solid in net. But we did see this from Samsonov last year. So if you can get him to his potential that he was last year and the year before, the big thing with this is you'd have two hot hands that you can put into the net. And just say instead of winning 40, 50 games, you can win 60 or 70 on riding two elite goaltenders. And like I've always said, you just ride the hot hand in the playoffs, but you still have this extra guy that's still good enough to step in when you need it.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there. And like the title says, this will change everything because if he gets a big win here in his next start, it'll really get his mojo back, get his confidence back up, and we'll really get to see two hot goaltenders in Toronto, which will be really fun to watch. It'll be a great battle between the pipes. I know these guys are very friendly with each other in the locker room, just a friendly competition, but I really do think that this will just mean the world for the Leafs if he can go out, get a win on his next start, and then you got two hot goaltenders ready to go out, ready to play, and just battling against each other to kind of become the number one goalie in Toronto. But another thing surrounding Samsonov is that he changed his mask. It's the exact same mask that he wore last season, but it's a reverse version of it. And they did ask Samsonov about this, about changing the mask. He said, I just want to change it up. I'm not superstitious, but I want to do it. And I just think this is an all-time quote because, the cliche or whatever is that goalies are very superstitious. But, I mean, maybe it's just the way the mask is designed. It doesn't feel as good as the one he had last year. So he's just switching it back up, see how it goes.
Yeah, the big thing is goalies say they're not superstitious. You've seen all around the league. Every goalie is, even if they say they're not. So this is the third mask change. I know when he started the season, he had the old Cujo mask on. I'm a big fan of this mask. I thought it was awesome. Obviously, it wasn't working. He went to the kind of reverse version of what he did last season, and now he's just straight back to what of the same mask he wore last year. So you're seeing him try to get himself out of this. He thinks his play is good. I think Samsonov did look good throughout his games. He did get a couple unlucky bounces and did let in a couple weak ones at times. But once he gets his confidence back, if this mask is what gives him the confidence, I'm completely fine with it.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Jim Carrey out there, the mask. That many different changes this year is crazy, but I really do think, like you said, Samsonov just needs a big win, and once he gets it, he'll be right back to where he was, and it'll just be great to see. But we're gonna get in everybody's favorite topic here, and that is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Jim. He says, Mark, you should send that Wendell jersey to KC so he can wear it on the show. I'm sorry to tell you, Jim, but that will never happen. I do enjoy the Leafs. I like talking about them. I like watching their games, but I'll never be able to put a jersey on.
We'll have to make a bet next time the Leafs and Habs play. If the Leafs win they win. You'll have to wear the Wendell Carter jersey for a video.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to throw on that Caulfield or the Max Domi. I don't know if I'd give you the Max Domi one because maybe he's a Leaf now, but I'll definitely make you throw on the Caulfield one. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to go down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, so we really appreciate it if you went down, hit that subscribe button, and also let us know down in the comments what's your thoughts on these prospects we talked about today, and what's your thoughts about the whole goaltending situation in Toronto right now. You might be featured on the next comment of the day, but if you enjoy the Leafs, make sure to check this video that's popping up on your screen right now. But I've been KC alongside my co-host Mark Pye. Keep your stick on the ice.